The following Defending Our America episode is presented without commercial interruption by Sauer.
So we're constantly saying we need to be more secure, we need to be more secure. But you put drones and we're going to be more secure and more secure. You know what? You're less free, less free, less free.
Individual liberties and that freedom can provide security because you don't have to rely on a state apparatus to provide that security. Right. I don't have to rely on the United States military to protect me.
I like the thought of the drones. Yeah. I like it in conjunction with manpower responding to
it. Well, the problem is, though, that you have to be very restrictive when you start using things like that. You have to hold your leaders accountable because they can't overstep their bounds and start using it for things it wasn't designed for.
There's been times where we have absolutely needed drones. We've needed that piece of equipment because our traditional equipment, our helicopters, our planes, our ground units are ineffective. You can see behind me, this is a huge valley. And so when the bad guys own the high points, it's impossible for us to do our job good because they know when we're here. If we had a drone, we could cover miles and miles of territory with one person at the joystick flying that thing rather than expending a bunch of resources to cover that same area. And in a matter of hours, we could have a huge area covered and know what kind of activity level we have there. And then rather than just blindly deploying resources, we could use that to identify where the bad guys are and then steer resources in and just attack that one small problem.
I think that if it's used for a specific purpose, whether it's on the SWAT team, we're around the perimeter of a house that we know that there's someone in there with a hostage in, and I can put a drone up and see the entire perimeter, which provides better security and safety for our team members as they're going in, why would I not use something like that?
You know, the problem is we live in a society where we're looking at things like the IRS scandal, where if you speak openly about defending our rights, all of a sudden you're getting audited by the IRS, or your emails being compromised because you openly put yourself on a list that is against the administration. You have to question if electronics and drones get put into play. Would they ever take advantage of those same things and use them against me?
The actual environment of a home doesn't just extend to what's inside my front door and my back door. It also extends to what might be fenced in my yard. And there have been cases where police have flown over and gotten physical evidence, photographed marijuana plants in a yard, or, using thermal imaging to look through the front windows of a house, and you're violating the Fourth Amendment because you have to develop probable cause by seeing something in plain sight. And the plain sight doctrine is the bad guy, you pull him over for a speeding ticket, you look in and there's a gun half sticking out under the seat. That's probable cause to get him out of his car, search the car, seize the gun, arrest him. But if you have to use X-ray vision to look under his seat, that's not something that's in the public view. Federal law is going to have to catch up with the technology, and somebody's going to have to lay down some rules on what can and can't be acquired and or used. They're already listening to phone calls and reading emails and everything else. You don't want, satellite drones overhead looking at everything and videotaping everything everybody's doing every minute of the day.
What happens is you can't give up your rights.
Yeah, we don't need to give up our rights. We don't need to give up the liberty. Yeah.
Holding our leaders accountable, and that's why it's great for all of us to be at a table, is because this all boils down to, our entire country boils down to leadership, and we're lacking it right now.
The, big brother's eye in the sky. I think there's a lot of great purposes for them, and they could definitely be helpful, but it's a balance point.
Next time on Defending Our America.
People always want to look at cops as being the bad people because nobody ever wants to cop around unless they need them.
No one wants to live in this society where cops walk away from people that they should be arresting.
It's like any profession. There's good, there's good cops, there's bad cops. But to paint with a broad brush an entire profession based on a few examples, and that it isn't reality and it's not fair.